So, welcome to the March W7PRA meeting. I'm Paul N0 VLR, chair of the board. We all know each other, but I think introductions are good for anybody watching the recording. And we'll take a chance. So we'll go ahead with Paul up in Roseburg.
Paul Branchfield, W7PEB, the Southern contingent from Roseburg.
All right. Thank you, Paul. Thanks for joining us. Ron, our esteemed webmaster.
Yeah, Ron Post in Millersburg, webmaster and board member at large, I think. Or a large board member, one or the other.
All right. Andy, good to see you again.
Yeah, Andy Prentice, W7 AAU in Oakton Villa, Oregon. That's between Corvallis and Tangent.
Thank you, Andy. Our esteemed treasurer, Tyler.
Tyler Parsons, WB7DD, Southeast Corvallis, 1 mile south of downtown.
Excellent. Professor Shelby.
And Mike, W7RIS, about 10 miles north of Corvallis.
Excellent. Well, we had some moving of blocks here. Let's see. Larry, you're next.
Hey, it's Larry, AF7NU in Northeast Corvallis.
Awesome. Good to see you, Larry. Hope to hear you give us an update later. I'll have you down as one of the sections there. Mr. Anthony with an interesting photo. It doesn't look like the NASA photo of the day, and if it does, I have questions.
It is the NASA photo of the day. This is Anthony KE7OSN. And if I shift over enough, what you see is Robert Goddard's original rocket, which did its original flight 100 years ago today.
Wow. See, you learn something every day. I thought all your photos were out of this world, but not this one.
Yeah.
It was on Earth. Mr. Tom.
Tom, KK7YZC, about 5 miles north of Corvallis.
Good to have you, Tom. Ted, sharp and snappy dresser.
Well, thank you. This is Ted Mitchell, W7RTM, from the we're outskirts of Philomath.
The thriving metropolis of Philomath, yes.
There you go, thriving metropolis.
All right, so that's all we have for today's check-ins. We may have some stragglers come in. We
have Tyler.
Tyler introduced himself.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I got him. He left and came back. Got to feed the cat, maybe. So let's start with I think I'd like to cover some of the reports tonight because we have some election type activities to go on today. So we'll see how that goes. And Mike, if you don't mind doing any presentation afterwards, that would be fabulous.
Not a problem.
All right, thank you. Secretary's report, Ted.
Well, hopefully I got the minutes sent out about earlier last week. I was able to review the recording and did the minutes from that. So any additions, deletions, modifications, please let me know. W7RTM@ARRL.net.
Thank you, Ted. Appreciate your dedication to listening to the recordings and capturing all the notes. Excuse me. And I also want to thank Anthony for hosting last month's session. I don't want to say I was in the middle of the cartel foofara, but I was in the same area south of there, and we were in flight during the meeting time, thanks to flight delays. All right, so thank you. Let's see here. Treasurer's report, Mr. Andy.
Treasurer's report. As of March 13, 2026, our Oregon State Credit Union checking account had $1,163.13, and their savings $2,488.85. So our total at Oregon State Credit Union is $3,651.98. We have $68.01 in our PayPal account. We have 81 cents in our Square Up account, and we have $5.24 in cash for a total of $3,726.04.
Any questions for Andy? All right. Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much.
I may have to check out of the meeting early. I got things going on here.
Okay, great. I think the only discussion we may have is, I think everybody, I don't think there's any outstanding receipts. We haven't had any club activity. I think it's coming up maybe in June. So, but thank you for showing up.
Did Mike pay for a permit for field day? I don't recall receiving a bill for that yet.
Yeah, that was paid last year.
Did we reimburse you for it already?
Yeah, it's already been paid for.
Okay.
We're good. The only thing that's coming up would be food.
All right. Okay, that's all for me.
All right. Thank you, Andy. And feel free to check out whenever you feel so desired. Okay. So what else we got here? Ron, website, anything to report? I don't know if you got my text.
Yeah, I seen you send a text that w7pra.com was back up. I didn't even know it was down. But yeah, I updated our website and added the last 2 months, got the YouTube videos on there, posted updated the calendar a little bit, got some of the upcoming events on there. And again, if you have any photos or anything you want me to add, just let me know.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, we'll keep that in mind. We've got some more activities going on for those who you have not been to our website. It's peakradio.org. I know we have some newer folks either on the call or maybe watching the recording. Over here on the home menu is where you can find some of the hidden features. Got a calendar, repeater sites. There's some bylaws. There's some pictures that we've got in here. Always looking for more pictures. If you go out and do any POTA activity, feel free to send it to Ron. We'd love to see those radioactive photos, if you know what I mean. No pun intended for us nuclear guys. And of course, we've got a link to the repeater site, which is Chris's w7pra.com. And that's the thing that just came back up again. So ours still works. There it is. It goes right back to it. It's now functioning. There is a number of things about here on repeaters. Yeah, online and operational. There is a Facebook group called PRA Repeater Info Center. And this is the one that I talk about a lot if you want to see what's going on. I'm trying to see if there's anything February 2nd that was a bit ago. So there's nothing real recent except maybe the fact that we lost one of our longtime members here, W2HR, Harold. And then, of course, there's some other things you can check into for All-Star and Echolink. And there's one interesting thing down. Well, first of all, there's a couple of things here. There's some interesting. I would, what's the word? Encourage you all to read this. There is some network coverage there. There's some latest updates. Of course, that points you back to Facebook. There's some tower cameras. There's some really interesting tower cams on some of the sites. If you think you're going to be going to somewhere where there is, if you're going to check out maybe a place in Steens Mountain, for instance, you can go here and check out not only the weather, but what it looks like on towerview.live. So there's some interesting stuff. And last but not least, there's some audio that you can listen to PRA Network online. So there you go. There's some new features there. Thought I'd point it out. All right. And of course, if you're trying to program your radio, there is our illustrious list, which has a lot of the information that we need. And I forget if we've kept that up to date, Ron, with the repeater, the chirp file, or is that something that we need to go back and look at now that this is back up? I forget.
I don't know either.
All right. We'll come back to that one. It's not crucial at the moment. Okay. All right. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. All the updates you do and keeping us up to date. So there, I already covered the repeater report. So there is an annual item. Anthony, you're going to keep me straight on this because I read the bylaws and I was trying to see how we do this, but this is our month where I guess last month, maybe you could give us an update. Was there any interest in any of the positions that we are coming up for renewal?
Nobody last month volunteered to run for any positions.
Okay.
Nobody ran away scared from an existing position, but nobody volunteered for a new one.
Okay. Andy, I know you and I have spoken in the past. I know you think you would appreciate maybe a functioning backup for your treasurer in the event that you can't, do it for a period of time, or if it just doesn't, you would just appreciate someone who has that technical capability. Is that still true, or would you like to give us an update?
Yes. Is my microphone on?
It's
Yep.
working fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm approaching 80. My health is deteriorating. I'm battling 3 kinds of cancer. I had surgery in November. I think it would be wise. I am perfectly happy to continue being treasurer, but I think it's wise that we have somebody who's backup knowledgeable. And Paul has already met with me and has all of the information. He's also he's one of the 2 people who can access our bank accounts and write checks and things like that. But I think it would be good if we had a backup potential replacement for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried so much about checking out as I am about not being up to keeping up with the work.
Sure.
One thing I'd like to say is that in our Google Drive, in the radio club's files, is a folder for the treasurer, and in there is the updated journal that I keep, which records everything that happens that involves the treasurer, money in, money out, and where all the money is.
Mm-hmm.
It's always available. And it would be good if we had people and all the boards of directors members have access to that file. It would be good if everybody on the board of directors exercise that, at least checked in so that they know where the financial information resides. I keep records of everything so that I personally don't need to be the source of information. It's all recorded in our journals and things like that. So we just need other people to know where the information is. And that's all I got to say.
All right. Thank you, Andy. Thank you for that clarification. I'm glad you're out of your recent visit to the Big H, the hospital, and glad to have you back. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Andy? Okay. Maybe I'll send out a note to the larger group Andy, and see if there's any interest outside of this meeting where others may be, not be able to attend. Maybe see if we can get some backup, yeah, like you had suggested. So thank you. Okay. Okay, so I did ask Anthony to mention it's this time of year where we can change any bylaws. I'm not looking to go through this today. But if there's anybody who feels like we should change something in the bylaws, let's see, what is it? Is it only this month, Anthony, or can we suggest it this month and then make it this in the next, reasonable amount of time?
So there's two processes,
Mhm.
and both basically work the same. The text of the amended bylaws has to be presented 30 days prior to the to a vote on them.
Mhm.
And so basically either way, the text of any bylaw changes that we'd look at today would have had to have been presented and read at the last meeting.
Okay.
But that can also be done later.
Mhm.
One thing I would like to work on is some kind of tweaking to kind of the structure of the bylaws. For a little background, so with Benton County Aries, we redid the kind of the bylaw structure, and part of that was we greatly simplified the bylaws, which allowed us to focus the bylaws really just on the things that were needed to qualify the organization as a 501c3,
Mhm.
and submit that and register that with the IRS.
Mhm.
And so that was done, and part of that was we took particularly the membership portion of the bylaws, and we just said there will be a membership requirements document separate from the bylaws, and that can be amended uh, much more fluidly.
That
Uh,
will. Mhm.
and so uh, that way the bylaws themselves are pretty short and just kind of check off the boxes for the IRS. And I think that would be something that would be good for us to do and to register with the IRS.
Mhm.
It all said and done, I think Aries it cost us I think it was only about less than $400 to between registering with the state
Mhm.
and the IRS. There's a one-time fee you pay with the IRS to process that application, and that's
Mhm.
like $275. Uh, and we also registered a DBA so that we had that. And then, you wait a couple weeks or a couple months, and then you get a letter from the IRS saying that you're now officially a 501c3, which means that donations to the club are actually considered tax deductible. Uh, and that does add there are a number of benefits that can go with that. So one of them that a lot of nonprofits use is like the Google Workspace for nonprofits.
Mhm.
So you can set up the club could get an email system and have access to the kind of the paid features of the Google Work service or Workspace service
Mm.
for free, which is a wonderful price.
Yeah.
So
That's a great opportunity, Anthony. I think what we'll do is um, bring that up for consideration. Hmm. Does somebody want to make a motion to try to investigate that and see if that's makes sense to do? I mean, I can certainly you can certainly write that down.
it doesn't take a lot to do it, and it's something that I had hoped to just kind of transcribe what we had into a couple of documents. It's just been a very busy few months with work and everything else, so haven't had enough time to sit down and get it done.
Okay, great. Is this something we need to vote on, or do you think we should just bring it as a proposal after we've made a draft change for the bylaws as we normally do, right?
Yeah, I think unless somebody else wants to help with it, we can just put it on the docket as we'll present the proposed amendments to the group once they're ready. So
Okay. That sounds great. Anybody have any comments for or against that? Just out of curiosity, in case there's any commentary.
I would like to say I'm for it. The original bylaws were originally written by a lawyer, and I don't still to this day don't understand pieces of it.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, great. Well, so noted. We'll Anthony, I'll stick my neck out and see if there's anything I can do to help, but it sounds like you've done this before, so you're the resident expert. And we'll have some discussions later to see if we're not missing some elements of it that we may skip out on and that we may miss. I'd also like to, once we have something, I'd like to maybe mention to Chris too, because he may have some things to say about it, especially if we're going to be, donating some funds to support the repeater portion, routinely or whenever called upon.
yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things is just making sure that the purpose of the organization is spelled out and that contributing to help financially support the repeaters is articulated in that mission statement. So that way, if anybody says, "Hey, why did you give money to Chris for the repeaters?" we can say, "Well, that's part of the mission in the bylaws, and that's what we're here for." So,
okay, great. Thank you for that suggestion. Okay, let's visit that when we have time to bring that up again. Thank you. So we have a number of folks on. I hope I didn't forget anybody. Hang on a second. I can't grab the window. Where is it? There it is. We've got some at-large directors. We've got Anna, Anthony, and Ron. Did I miss somebody or did I put somebody in a wrong bucket?
Nope, that's the...
Okay. I'll work backwards since Anna's not here. Ron, are you able to still stay on as a at-large director?
I am.
Okay. All right. Anthony, are you able to do as well?
Yep.
Okay. Anna's not here. And I think it's appropriate for me to ask, is anybody else interested in being an at-large director? I know that there's always room for fresh ideas and things. And especially for the things about voting, it makes that's a big part of being an at-large director, for according to the bylaws. Anybody interested in being part of that?
I would be interested in it if there's an opening.
Okay. And Scott, I see you raise your hand.
Yes, I would too if there's an opening as well.
Okay, great. Let me run through how this all works. Do we need to do that tonight, Anthony, or is that I mean, I know this was opportunity last month, but there wasn't these other nominations here.
So the way we've run them in the past is nominations. People have been able to submit nominations effectively starting last month.
Yep.
And then they can, nominations can continue to tonight.
Okay.
And what we've done in the past is we close nominations kind of at this portion of the meeting as we're going through now. And then what we've done through Ham Club Online is do a election through Ham Club Online and give people so many days to respond to that election. And then the results come out, and that is how we run the election. So.
Okay, I'll work on that. Okay, anybody else interested in at-large directors before we, I guess, close the nominations? Okay, silence is consent.
So you're not going to open nominations for the other offices?
No. For the at-large directors, I'm going to do this one next. Thank you, Ted, for keeping me straight. So we've got me as the chair. If anybody would like to run for chair, I'm open and willing to let others share in that glorious, fun opportunity. I've done it for a number of years. Anthony's done it for a number of years. I think it's always good to have new perspectives come in and maybe carve out their own niche if so desired. Is anybody interested in running for chair? Okay. Silence once again. Got it. Okay. Mike, you're the trustee. Would you be interested in remaining as trustee, or would there anybody else who would like to be the trustee of the call sign and all the logs and whatnot that go along with the equipment and other things club related?
And I'm good holding that same position.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. That's the one that interacts with the FCC, keeps the license up to date, and we certainly appreciate that. Okay. Mr. Ted, sharp and snappy dresser, secretary. How do you feel about this position? And we'll go from there.
So it would not break my heart for somebody to step up and be secretary. If nobody does, I will continue, but I have held this position for at least 10 years, and I think a little 2 or 3 years longer than that. So as you stated, having new blood and new ways of thinking in a position is always good.
Okay. Anybody on the call here interested in doing some secretary work? And again, if they're in the bylaws, if you'd like to see more about them, that's why I left it on the screen. Keep the bylaws, make changes, additions, keep minutes of the board. That's what the one you see Ted doing quite routinely. Keeping all correspondence, most of it's digital now, unless I'm mistaken. And just keep attendance of who attends the meeting, which is all in the meeting notes.
And like the file that Andy talked about, there's a secretary file folder on the Google Drive, and each year is separated out. So they're all there.
Awesome. Thank you, Ted. Yeah, I would like to see, I'm going to see if I can reach out to the larger group that isn't in attendance tonight and see if there's any interest. I will make a strong recommendation for those, for those who, appreciate what the club does, and we'll go from there, and hopefully we'll draw up some interest. Andy, I think you've spoken. Is he still here? I didn't even look to see. He might have already left. He already spoke his piece. He's said he's happy to continue doing it, but I think a backup would be really smart. I will put that in some sort of a message to clearly communicate the need. And I'll have to go back and look. I think they need to be in the Benton County area, if I'm not mistaken, to be
They
part
have
of
to be eligible to be a member at Oregon State Credit Union, which is live, work, or go to school in Lynn, Benton, I think Lane, Lincoln, Marion, Polk.
Okay. Phew. All right, good. Yeah, because suddenly I may have just put myself out of a checking account privilege. All right. All right. Any other discussion? Any other nominations that may or may not be here? Anybody, I think, speak their mind for any positions now that we've gone through any of all of these? Okay, Mr. Secretary, I've heard nothing else. I will go ahead and at least close the nominations for now. Again, there's not a lot of people here tonight. So there may be some others that might show some interest. I'd be certainly happy to entertain them and put them down just to keep the blood flowing and go from there. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all. Anthony, did I miss anything critical on this in this particular aspect? I know you've got quite the experience with it.
No, that's pretty well sums it up.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, everybody. And I'm going to keep moving. All right. So past events, I don't know if anybody wants to talk about it. The Rick Rail Hamfest. It didn't flood out this time. So hope people made it. And I know I bumped into some of you. Yeah, from the radio club there. I had a great time. Mike and I were holding fort on a very active table that we had there. Mike and I were right outside the food venue. There was a lot of traffic.
Yeah, it seemed like the population was probably medium as far as the number of people coming through there. The aisles weren't, I've seen it before where you couldn't get up and down the aisles. The aisles were still decent to get up and down. There's a lot of some pretty cool equipment out there. Like typical ham fairs, the big ticket, the expensive ones didn't seem to move, but all the stuff from basically $1,000 on down, they seem to be moving pretty well. There's a guy that had 4 tables, I think it was, of antique radios that he had restored, and they were gorgeous, gorgeous radios. Now I'm not into that thing, but I am. But they weren't ham radios; they were regular broadcast radios, and maybe general receivers and stuff like that. But I have no idea how well that guy did, but it looked really nice for that display. But I had fun. It seemed like at my end of that table was a big meeting place. Everybody always stopped there, and it was nonstop ratchet jawing. I had to do a little bit of breakaway to try and sell some stuff. I didn't have a lot to sell, but I did manage to get rid of about half my stuff that I needed to. So fun event. Oh, one other thing. Newsflash, just hot off the press. I think everybody knows that the Rick Rail Polk County Fairgrounds was having some real problems financially, and they didn't know if that facility was going to continue to be open for doing the kinds of events that we do there for the swap meets that we do. So I don't know all the things that went out in the Polk County meetings that's been going on. But the big thing is that right now, biannually, there is going to be $500,000 allocated to help out fairgrounds, keeping them open and keeping them operational for the counties, for the 36 counties that we have in the state. So that's just off the press.
Wow.
Yeah, great.
And they still have the bond is still up for vote too, right?
That
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know where that stands.
Yeah, I read an article in the Register Guard. I think it was the Register Guard, and a couple of weeks ago, and it did say that they had a bond measure, I think, slated for the November election, but I think they moved it up to the May. They're going to do a May general kind of not general, but special election. So it will be on that ballot for Polk County only, of course. But that's great news, Mike. Is it the state that's allocated the
Yeah,
500?
yeah. The state is allocating that.
Oh, that's great. Okay, good news.
It is good news, Mike. I belong to some other groups that put on shows out there, so glad to hear it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, that's for Mid Valley. I mean, it keeps you out of the state fairgrounds, which is stupidly expensive, and it allows you to take and deal things with local counties and keep them in business and keep some focus there on what's going on. So, great news there. Okay, that was it.
Thank you. So with my move in with my wife and her family here, her daughter actually is very much part of the Lane County Parks and Recs. So if you're looking to do something in a Lane County, I can't guarantee you any discount or anything like that, but I can certainly get you some information that you might normally find. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. All right. We've got a couple of outreach. Let's see. I think Larry, you're here. Glenn does not, but do you have any updates on the Eugene Scout?
Well, we're still kind of the organization stage. We got about 12 members in our club, of which we only got about maybe 3 or 4 that actually kind of come to our monthly meetings. We're still trying to get a venture crew started with this. We have people lined up for it. We just still need to get a couple of people to join that are not already a member of Scouts. So they have to be 2 new people.
Mm.
So we're still at that, trying to get down. I'm hoping to have a meeting scheduled for them on Wednesday to hopefully get people together, because try and see if there's some activities that we could maybe set something up to kind of get the Scouts interested, radio, and show them here it is. They do have a Scout outing coming up in May that we've been at before and had good luck recruiting people. So we're going to try and see if maybe we can do that, and maybe see if we can't do something for Field Day. Haven't quite figured out whether we're going to set up our own kind of thing, or whether maybe we'll try to piggyback with some local groups, and we could set up a station, in conjunction with other groups that are doing Field Day.
That's an excellent idea. Several clubs are already going to be doing it. As you know, it's a great opportunity to not, ask for any effort on anybody else's part, and they'd be doing a great service to the youth. Mm-hmm. That would be great if you guys could coordinate that, Larry. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Scott, do you have anything on the LC contesting, or was that just an old topic that went by?
I think there was some miscommunication there. I don't think I would do it. I just don't feel I'm super qualified to teach a class in contesting. But somebody else asked. I've been actually a couple of people asked me about that, and I said, "Wait a minute! I never said I was going to teach a class in contesting." So
the rumor becomes
the other
fact.
thing is it would be an ALSI, and there's not a whole lot of people out there who are interested in contests. So, yeah. Well,
Okay.
Now that it's out there, kind of, maybe I'll do something like that. But like I said, I don't know if I'm the best qualified person to teach a class like that,
Okay.
But if there's interest, I'll try something. But
All right.
however, I know maybe where confusion may have lain. It was a general course, a general licensing class, general class licensing.
Okay.
I mentioned that I might do, and There's some interest at OSU, so it would be. And then the question is it going to be just a live in-person class, or would it be a Zoom class or something like that? And I think the consensus would be a Zoom kind of a thing.
Okay.
Because people just don't want to have to drive somewhere or whatever.
Sure.
So we'll see. I'm still
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just leave it on here and we can drop it off next time.
Yeah.
So Scott, if you need a program for doing contesting one, I got a real nice one that you can probably reuse for Alcy out there.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I'd love to see it, Mike. Yeah, absolutely. Because I have experience, obviously, and all of us have, but some of us might be better at it than others. You know what I'm saying? So anyway.
You just have to be this much more knowledgeable than the students, Scott.
Exactly. And if they don't know anything, then I'm in good shape.
Well, just tell them ham radio is a contact sport.
There you go.
All right. So much for the humor.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for that. Anybody got any other upcoming events that they would like to share with us, or anything that they've done in the past month or two that they'd like to share their experience, radio related or otherwise?
Wait a minute. Radio wise. You mean like project types of things, Paul? Or
anything. It's just anything to share. It's just for the good of the order, really. And you know what? Paul's got his hand raised. If you want to sit and think about it, Scott, I can come right back to you.
Yeah. I did winter field day with the Boy Scouts of their Klondike Derby. And unfortunately, I was just a little bit off their trail, so I didn't get any young scouts, but I got a lot of adults that came and talked to me. And it was 18 degrees, so it was and I was outside, but I did make it work.
Good for you. Scott, did you think of something, or did you want to?
No, that's a tough act to follow.
Okay.
I'll skip
it. Tough act to follow. It was outside in the cold. All right, great. I think anybody else for the last call? Otherwise, I'll just go ahead and switch over and see if Mike has something to share with us tonight. Anybody have anything? Okay. Mr. Mike, do you have something to share with us tonight?
Of course I do.
I knew that answer. I did. And is our tradition, feel free to, not feel free, please mute your microphones for the respect of the presenter. And I know Mike does take questions along the way, and you just raise your hand or whatever you'd like.
Yep.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm going to get some glasses on here, Square, so I can see what the heck I'm talking about. So for any guys chasing DX, Beauvais is in the books. They finished up this weekend. They're safely, everybody is safe and on board and headed back to South Africa, Cape Town, South Africa, where they'll unload everything. So there's a number of YouTube videos out there on both unloading stuff and getting things set up, operations while they were doing stuff. And there's a beautiful video about using the helicopter where they circled the island there and showed you how rough and rugged that thing is. One of the kind of big surprises there that all the other expeditions have been on that island. That entire Beauvais Island has always been capped in ice and snow. This time, the one edge where they set up so you could get into North America was bare rock. So when it came to putting up antennas and trying to keep them up in the air, that is a volcanic island, so it's a big honking solid rock. You can't not drive stakes into the ground. So when you look at the antennas they put up, there's for the guy lines, you can always see big, huge monster rocks there, big rocks holding those things up. And just like all the other expeditions on that island, keeping the antennas up and keeping them safe was a non-stop process. They lost their 160-meter antenna. They lost one of their 20-meter Yagis got smashed up. They tried to repair it. I don't know if they finally got that back up in the air. But the other things, you can't get those things back up in the air when you have a 50-mile-an-hour wind blowing through there and it's setting right at freezing temperature up there. So it was quite a journey for those guys. So $1.7 million, most expensive expedition so far. Really cool. So while that chapter closes, there is a whole long list of other expeditions that are getting underway. Sable Island, that's off of the Nova Scotia coast up there. That expedition, they will be on land on the 18th. So yeah, they're just they're in the process of heading over there. So on the 18th, they'll be getting on the land. Take them a day or two to get set up, and then they'll be operating up there. So that's another important one. So there's a bunch of other expeditions. Get on FT8, and I mean you can work Africa. There's one in Palau. That's a bunch of little islands off of the Indian Ocean there, off of India. There's an island off the southern tip. Oh, Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka popped up. That's off of India. That is India is one of the hardest places for us to work here on the West Coast. And I've seen those guys pop up several times and got them several times. So really good DXing coming up and continuing on through this time frame. A couple other things I wanted to talk about. So remember, 7QP, that's the 7th of May, or excuse me, the 2nd of May. 2nd of May, really important to take if you want to end up, let me know if we'll be, I've been sorry, I normally shove out a bunch of email on this, and I've been swamped with a bunch of other stuff going on. So there'll be more email coming out on the news feed for all of that. So if you want to get onto the reflector for all the 7QP, just send me an email, and I've had a couple of people wanted to jump on there and see what the heck's going on. Good time. Field day is coming up at the end of the at the beginning of the real summer. So that's April 28th through April 27th through the 28th. We got CPAC coming up. That's June 5th and 7th up there. We also, for any of the hardcore guys, normally down in California, we have a DX convention. That's going to be down in Santa Maria this time, and I'll be down there for that. And so that's going to be April 9th through 11th. So that's going to be held at the Santa Maria Inn up there, very historic place, very pretty. And so if anybody that likes wine, it's a great place to go and visit there. So that's all the big stuff that's coming up. There's a bunch of other stuff. Ham Nation's coming up over on the East Coast if you wanted to end up going for that.